Me makwa baba Adkwart Studios. Enkomo bi akoso ewo maame broni bi ena okasa no no ka brofo ntino. Okasa wi amebobodin na ma kirase atwi. Osi nkrofo mu ye yiyimu ewo wiase. Brofo. No no osifiri ni nkola brem ni e kire no ni nipa mu yiyimu. Ye kaso bi ye raises a nipa mu yiyimu. Nipa bi a omo adwen ye omo se omo de ye bo omo soronko. Na wana aka no eye bibi. Saa ne de hye won tirim. Na ne ema me pese edi saa nkoma we ni se. So bi de hye ono ne tirim se wonye nipa. Na wo gitum saa. Na wa ma ono na dwen a wo dwen no eye adwuma wo wo abrabom. Abrafo ne dwen saa. Ana yen mpanimfo no agitum mo ses ane yetie. Anunti ne aka achi no. Anunti ne aka achi no. Na efri omo nkola brem omo ko school no ne de ahye wo adwum se bibini. He. Me ko Canada oni me ko Calgary. Yeah. Na Calgary ho de before nche da ni ho kra. Entina nka o se me ba Toronto Joada. Ena nkoto papa bia wa ba Ghana. Se de papa ni si hu ami no na nya asem kitwa. Ana odi mi call school bi mu. No odi mi call school on mo no. Se nkwara no hu bibi ni de o. Won mo na nkwara no jeza. Omo betwa de ebi kura besa omo som skin ni he. Mi ha mani kiro mo na omo ape ba bi afa. Ya de adwin bi ahye won tirim. So tie se mama ka oye broni o. Anso woni abrofo no nya dwen ba kokura da. O se he. Ya de ahye mo dwen mu se bibi phone timi nya hwe. Yenkoti.
Say that all whites are racist. Can you expound on that, please?
Any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America, if you aren't a racist, you're a miracle. Either that or you decided to educate yourself. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back. Yellow's mellow, but whites, we educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, have done all the discovering, have made everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie. But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority. The myth of race has to be maintained at all costs in this country. Because if white people have to give up the color of their skin as being something that makes them perfect, what do they have left? If we start teaching the truth about history, if we start teaching about Nile Valley contributions to civilization, it will totally change the way we conduct ourselves in the classroom. It will have to. Columbus didn't discover America. You can't discover a place where people are already living. But we celebrate that every October. It's a lie. We need to get over. We need to stop telling the myths and start telling the truth.
So when you tell people that they're racist, and it must have some kind of effect, because most people will say, I'm not racist.
I'm not a racist. Why, some of my best friends are black. Yeah, and then you say, name one. Or this one, I don't see color. And when some woman says to me, I don't see color, I say, I knew that. If you saw color, you wouldn't dye your hair that way. Or I say, if you saw color, you wouldn't wear that shirt with those pants. I believe that you don't see color. It's an attempt to deny skin color. And it's an attempt to deny what's wrong with seeing the color of my skin. Is it all right for you to see me kind of pink? That's okay for me. I don't mind. And I suspect that you don't mind being seen the color you are. You have a right to be what you are. And until people in this country and people in this world get it into their heads that the first modern human beings that evolved on this earth were black women. They evolved in sub-Saharan Africa about 280,000 years ago, and every human being on the face of the earth today has the memory of those black women's genetic structure in their genes. Now, we don't want to admit that, but that's the way it is. And as people moved farther and farther from the equator, their bodies produced less and less melanin, so their hair, their skin, and their eyes got lighter. As they moved into the east, they ate a lot of fish and a lot of vegetables, so their skin took on a different tone. I found that out when I was raising little kids. My husband worked in a supermarket. He was the head of the produce department, and they had lots of oranges that they couldn't sell, so he'd bring them home, and I was feeding my kids orange juice like you never saw in your life. They began to have an orange cast to their skin. I thought they had a liver problem. So I took him to the doctor, and she said, "What are you feeding these kids?" I said, "Well, lots of orange juice." She said, "Stop it if you want them to stop being orange." Now, if you think that skin color isn't anything other than the body's natural reaction to the natural environment, get over it.
So, if all white people are racist, according to you, can they be reprogrammed?
Of course they can. Of course they can. Of
How?
course they can be. It's called education. I'm an educator. The word educator comes from the root duc dus, which means lead, the prefix e, which means out, the suffix ate, which means the act of, and the suffix or, which means one who does. An educator is one who is engaged in the act of leading people out of ignorance. Now, I know you can change them.
Nyame Israel. O just more kan. O see school no na de ahye won tirimu say ade papa bi afri abrofo no. Na bibini ntumi nya hwe. Ana de oyen interview busan say na say basa na nso wo ye nipa mu yi. Mo no sno. Ono onhunu kala o se we ye tuntuma na o yewe na okọ enipa nchiri a nipa nyina ase aya abibifo achenye bia ne ho abrofo no nimo wutie kasa na o ka no abrofo na o ka na no hare o si ade papa bia ya wo wiase no ye bọ modern se ye be ka se fra brofo o si atro kese atro kese ne ye di ahye na omo okuo bi wo ho no mo a omo mpa bibifo animu ahwe when we say before a slave trade say ye twamu no na even South Africa crowd no now bibini ntumi ni abrofo nko school baako ena bibifo no nso ya ntumi anteki ya stand de say me bibini a na nya yare na obi ya bibini a odumi koto nku eno na Ibrahim Traore abrawo ayi o de say Burkina Faso no so ba obepo hu bia no obechi watum na wa run skin se me be se me yekoko o si ni nyina frititi no ba bi onipa no betena ena akire ne skin no because okọ ba bi ti se Egypt na okukọ ba bi ti se African crow wo omo ben Israel ne ayi won no omo yedie enye tuntum se yani o Israel fon mu kura no o mo kire se na abibifo ne oka bebrebe ya me mani abra me kan se wo ye bibini a ye nipa ati wo ye nipa na wo de bayani aye mem ha kura no a se woni nkrofo a wo mo adwen ye on se o mako school che wo hia they look down on you o de ka brofo na ti e wo se ye da form se mi hu bisa hu se o mo ye nkurasefo anso o ka twi a o be ka se 77 impreduasa o firi ba bi a wa ba ayara wosemo me baby a medro bie ni won ma me bum ho abumfia da okosku aso na asua nguma no sebi osuku akoye no onfa metoduane ma mini na obi oduru baby ana wa moa ne ho because that be media dance ya chiro because poku waro invite me one day nanka mimi kono kra no mon kan chem se bia beka brofo ntimi de twi bible na koe na omo eye program ni nyina no ade lectures ne kra no lectures ne ka brofo na so anye yi a wontimi to omudi amse me afi na be mo se me nchire English o afi na drum so na of the last person na was a meaning kwala ni kasa na mgaji omo se will you permit me to use my mother's tongue? Oh yeah, and I'm saying I'm Betty Chi ne and I'm busa almost say kron kwabo asia ne say wo who I will say wo grandma wo tebro kron kwabo there Chi na me catch no Chi na me catch no I'm saying Chi me say adan mi wi on na omo poni be mimi wie na bobe 5 something enkola ni bi di machia be fie onsi adanya mi shraw me kanan so na enkola ni bi abrofo omo wo mi kasa ni na ga nyame oyamfo so se oyam bibini ase ye dru abrofo na ye mpanimfo ni nyina dru abrofo na no omo amoa ma me no ka kire mo se nya brofuru nkwanfo na de pa bi free hobo na ye hwe sese hwe apostle ko Joseph wankọ brochire ana okosua awoyo na papa yi ahya ase enkrofo bi se ode mame wata na enti obitimi ya ni papa sei na do bia wo I was a gorgeous of but main country said the oil and brunibia ye bid that. Menim say me can over me. I'm so no corner because I was a gorgeous of one. Okay, oko one more amoye Kaibit is a Ford the Busion. And I can't assemble almost assemble my Juma or a voice jinda. Ndi minimini America na baby a ye de engine ba na o makotota na free baby o matonkane na free baby apostle ko Joseph ye bibia anya kan so nko an woye o ye niema bebre enum na abrofo no so obi pie se Tayora design Daxina ayabusua na wamwa masabu siano enti nka apostle ko Joseph oye we no anka Ghana Japadie they say mechanism ya unim baby efre eboa meka Toyota unim baby efre meka BMW unim baby efre meka Benz unim baby efre meka Ford unim baby efre okoto Ford ewo Japan nya honum ne ye Ford but omo asom niema kase course wiase odi ko yes research in here efa before the yeah but omo ya na abrofo no nyansan bi omo won se ye mekwa ma bibini bia no empie da asuma bibini ko no omo nyina rengum si yakun broni ben ana ye kasa sports e dia hoden ya wo mo gidin o ba Amerikatua wiase nyina Amerikatuo abibifo eba boxing abibifo basketball abibifo ele na aka jirabi mami wo ye broni o no aka kire o se wo ye bibini a hwe na wa mu hu abinfua ana ye broni nso a hwe wo mo hwede no wo dia brofo nsan o mo hwede no edu ba bi a wo hwede o mo ani bere omo ye dia awia kan omo na bibi ayo enti omo eduru ba bi na se awia ne kofo mo omo betu awia se ne ebeya enti adofo emre du se wo ye bibini a wo ye broni a diulem wo ye bibi na ye mayi bi etimi ekope da bi o woni abrofuri san ya ho agi wo mo a wo mo ehunu Kristo no nipa mu yiyimu ana odi bayani ankasa Africa haya obi asantini a na dwen se moje ewo ni mo no nko na frafrani moja anko meboa enje du ba bia no mo yusu ye ne ekunkumi ho no because ye nyintu mu se nipa baako he ade abrofo no ade etiti ye mu aye ye so ko nyamsom ene ye traba ayi no mo de sia ba betum ti we free so ye superior or we free so code the name sin we free say it is time say titru abi before you go say we were not created by accident because DNA ever corner a black man yes ya brofunu ya de nipa maku na pio na wa create bibi na omu nyina hase esua yes obi ye bronia na o ye bronia o baye no yenye ya dwen sa de pa bi pie we mu a yesom ene tru ye enkwara nkitinkiti entumi nya bi manintu na bibini ya lupresesi ya no akade obetuo obeka jose o friend wa fa se wo fa matumi ya obeka wo ye lupela metem ne ntum fe wiem on tram da mo bi anse sen adwen wate na bibini so ya person we nipa wate we nipa me osuban bi ho no a me da radio se radio ai me sa sania wo hu mi no nyesa na me gitumu sadia me hunu mi ho no ana de bombra bi o me ma won fa wo tiri me si me de so na onwene ma me no baby e wiase ko no se ya hunu baby enyankopon de agina yanku anim da o mesi mami asemi matia ni mpre ni broni pa na ekasasa osi omo hyase wo school church omo se abi before nya nkrofobia osi e ya truck ese eni e de hye nkwala na dwum na omo de anyini ndi abrafo na omo ti ase no o ware bibini onu so o ware nipa Amen fancy say na ye nwene se ye beku anim e wo wiase nyankopon de aba mo anehwe ne tie bye bye.